Honey, next time you see red flags, don't ignore them. Run.
What's your bad feminist opinion?
I would rather be trampled to death by 1,000 angry bulls than call myself a boss bitch or a girl boss or lady boss or whatever. I derive no joy from being responsible for other people, from being needed, from being. I can do it. I cannot do everything. That was the first one. Second one, you gotta ask men out. Men and women, no. I'm not asking men out. Being a woman is enough work as it is. Even when women say that they're not doing much, they're still doing a lot. We just make it look effortless. We are making a lot of effort. No makeup, that shit takes a lot of time. No, I'm not asking any man out. I have never wanted a man that badly that I would swallow my pride and ask him out. I never want anything that badly. If he wants, he can ask me out. I can say yes or no. That's it.
You hear it all the time. Feminists out here crying that they want equality, which we all know is really just female chauvinism these days. But the question of today's episode is, do these women really want equality to begin with? We're going to be kicking it off by breaking down a clip from this woman right here, guys, whose ego is apparently too big to ever consider asking out a man. And this is what 2022 dating a lot of the time has to offer, guys. Girls who just view themselves so above everybody else, mainly men on the planet, that their egos can't entertain doing literally anything. But before we jump into it, guys, as always, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. Locals is where we will be going if Susan Wojcicki decides to yeet us off the platform, guys. So make sure that you come and join us over there so you're notified if we get booted off, because at this point, we've received many warnings for which they won't tell us. But let's jump into this woman's video, give it a breakdown. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's crack on with today's episode.
What's your bad feminist opinion?
I would rather be trampled to death by 1,000 angry bulls than call myself a boss bitch or a girl boss or lady boss or whatever. I derive no joy from being responsible for other people, from being needed, from being. I can do it. I cannot do everything.
That's actually a fantastic point that she brings up there. One of which that, you never really see these days, gentlemen, which is that a lot of these girls, they'll say, oh, men are at the top ranks of everything. It's so unfair. All these male CEOs, all these dudes out here, they're just at the top of everything. But they never genuinely consider the fact that these are positions that come with a lot of responsibility. They take a lot of hours to get done. They are, of course, can be very difficult. But no, guys, a lot of them just want the position at the top because, the only reason that the men get there is because of patriarchy and everything's so easy for men, right? But yeah, a lot of these positions, right, dudes who own their own businesses, crap like this, it involves a lot of responsibility. You're out here paying employees, doing things. So she actually brings up a good point right there. And a lot of the women, they want these positions, right? Hell, they want things like marriage, but they don't actually want the responsibility that comes with having these positions, which of course, never really gets talked about from these women's perspective. Let's continue.
That was the first one. Second one, you gotta ask men out. Men and women, no. I'm not asking men out. Being a woman is enough work as it is.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there. First of all, no, it isn't. Second of all, drop the ego. Guys, when I was younger, right, I always thought that these older women, not to have a crack at her age, but, she's a bit of an older lady, okay? I always thought as a kid that these older girls, they kind of had a clue. They were more emotionally mature. They were more mature in general. But holy balls, was I wrong about that. As I've grown up, I've realized, in fact, I saw a comment literally yesterday, right, on one of these episodes, and I can't remember this guy's name. I apologize for that. I can never remember people's names, but I scrolled through and I saw a comment. And this was left by a 62-year-old gentleman, and he said, the dating scene It's just as bad at 62. And he was describing a woman who was trying to sit there and talk to him about like crystals or some crap like that. And I'm like, man, what on earth are we doing? You know, I mean, obviously like healing crystals or some garbage or like star sign. It was something ridiculous like that. I'm like, man, it just does not get any better, does it? Like the delusion just seems to continue, even after they get to older ages. You would think it would kind of lessen, but it must just like sit there and kind of coalesce, I guess. Let's continue.
Even when women say that they're not doing much, like they're still doing a lot. We just make it look effortless.
I strongly disagree with you there. A lot of the things that, you know, girls in particular do. Now, I'm not going to say all women, but let me just say there are a lot of girls out here who make these things look the opposite of effortless. Okay, they want like a medal for paying their bills. They want a medal for looking after their own kids or looking after their kids after they've kicked the father out of the household. Like, let's just be honest, a lot of you don't make anything you do look effortless. You honestly try and make it look as painful as possible to try and get other people to solve it for you. Not all girls will do this, but to say, like, this statement right here makes no sense to me. I'm going to play it back.
They're still doing a lot. We just make it look effortless.
In fact, I have a TikTok after this that we have lined up on today's episode, guys, that really just is not conducive to this idea at all. But let's let her finish.
We are making a lot of effort. No makeup. That shit takes a lot of time. No, I'm not asking.
Makeup. So this woman's argument, right, for not putting in effort, for not like wanting to do things such as ask a man out, is because she has to put in effort, such as get her makeup on. Guys, I'm just gonna say this, okay? If your excuse for like being late to a date or people doing things for you is cosmetic, right? You have to apply things. You're an adult, okay? If you set a date with someone, you arrive there on time, okay? Like a lot of these girls will be like, oh yeah, man, I gotta do my makeup. I gotta look pretty, so that's why he should pay, right? If a dude is paying for you to be an adult and to get there on time, like what is the difference between paying you and literally just paying a girl in the back pages? You see what I'm getting at here? Right? Like, why am I paying you? Why am I asking you so that you can put on your makeup? Like, be an adult and be responsible for your own time, maybe. I don't know.
Any man, I have never wanted a man that badly that I would swallow my pride and ask him out.
I would go as, isn't that one of the sins, gentlemen? Just pride, right? So this woman would never swallow, quote, never swallow her pride to ask a man out. Okay, now I'm not saying that women should ask men out. I personally don't give a crap. I don't really have a horse in the race. But swallow your ego a bit, okay? Like, dudes are going to ask you out anyway, but to make a statement like that, I don't think these girls understand that when they say this stuff of like, oh, I want men to be traditional. First of all, you're not traditional, so what on earth are you talking about? And girls, man, they'll be like, oh, I'm traditional. I mean, if you were traditional, where is your husband? But whatever. Let's let her finish this, and then we'll jump into the next one.
I have never wanted a man that badly that I would swallow my pride and ask him out.
Well, this is the year 2022, right? What happened to equality? Okay, what happened to you doing your bit or anything like that? Right? See, they'll still expect men to be traditional. Okay, but if you ask them the question, are you ladylike? Are you traditional? Where's your husband? Right? They'll literally expect you as a man to pay for everything, to do for everything, to ask. But if you ask, can they cook? Oh my, they lose their marbles.
I never want anything that badly. If he wants, he can ask me out. I can say yes or no. That's it.
Yeah, fantastic. Can't wait to continue. I don't know what age this woman is rocking up on now. But yeah, keep on having that attitude. I'm sure it's working out fantastically for you. But guys, let's continue into the next clip, because speaking of making things sound effortless, yeah, I don't know how that one pans out. Let's take a listen.
So, for example, my fiance today, I was working late. We were supposed to go grocery shopping after work. And so he comes in and he wants to help, and he says, if you write me a grocery list, I'll go to the store. But here's the thing. I don't have time to write a grocery list. And so if you really want to help me, what you need to do is you need to be able to learn how to write a grocery list.
Okay, so right off the bat, doesn't have enough time to write a grocery list, but has enough time to make TikToks. I don't know which to you guys sounds more important, making a grocery list or making TikToks. But I personally would like to have food on the table. Maybe I'm a little bit of a outlier case here, guys, but I would prefer to have groceries over making some TikToks. But hey, you know, I don't really get it.
Which usually means you need to learn how to research recipes so that you can figure out what we need to cook for that week, which means you need to learn how to cook well enough that you can look at a recipe and know how difficult it's going to be and how long it's going to take and if it has time. And then you also have to have better taste in food because I want you to pick a recipe that I'm going to like. And
this is the funny part about this, right? Is you hear these women say this, like, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you're going to help me, then you need to do the other half of this, right? It's like, okay, how about the man? He'll learn those things, but how about you go pick up the groceries in the rain? How about you drive, you know, and you go to the store and you pick up all the groceries, right? Girls will complain. Like, I swear to you, man, a lot of these girls, not all of them, but a lot of them will sit there and no matter which position you give them, they will still find a way to cry about it and say that the man needs to do more, right? The man needs to do more because he needs to learn how to make the grocery list and he needs to learn how to cook and he needs to make things that I like, blah, 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 because I have no time to make a grocery list. It's like, okay, let's just say he does that. You go and you grab the groceries then. Oh, but like, I need you to, no matter which way you slice it, guys, have you ever noticed that there are people in life, gentlemen, where it's like, no matter how much assistance you provide to them, no matter like the moment that they have to do a task, it's like everything else, you can't do anything to help them, right? Like if you offer to help them, it's never enough. And in fact, if you do help them, they still struggle with it, right? Like it doesn't matter how much you help these individuals, they're still going to find something to complain about. I suggest that the guy, you know, not go through with the marriage. Obviously, guys, you already know my position on marriage. That crap is very stupid. But I suggest he, you know, goes the other direction and just lives alone, to be honest.
I need you to be thoughtful about that. And so that's how you can help a woman, not by going to the grocery store.
Okay, you go to the grocery store then and let him make the list. But then you'll complain, like, no matter which way we sliced it, we just end up with complaining.
By learning how to do all of those things so that you can actually take the chore off her hands by taking the chore off her hands.
Yeah, very effortless, right? They certainly make a lot of these things look effortless. Let me see if I can pull up some of these comments right here and take a listen as the thing just absolutely screws up. So let's take a look at some of these comments from some of these women who are just very frustrated here. What gets me is when they ask what needs doing around the house. Like, just look and do stuff. No one's providing me with a list. Yes, even if I wrote a list, I just can't write peanut butter. I have to write the brand names and kind and what color jar it's in for them to get it right. I just turn this up real loud. And why is there, and this is why their mothers need to raise them to be able to do this. It's not on their spouse. I think every day about how luxurious it would be to have a wife in the traditional heteronormative sense of the word. Tell me the bar is low for men without telling me the bar is low for men. Married 25 years and still have issues with stuff like this, but I will share a couple of things that help. Get a notebook in, is what this individual says. Let's see what some of these clowns have to say. Oh yeah, so just write a notebook where you have the meals that you cook. Write down the needed ingredients and suggestions for sides. Right, is this woman actually suggesting something rational, which is like, as you make the meals, you just keep a list, so you only have to write it once and then just say the meals or something like that? Like, are we actually getting a rational? Why is it, right? It's amazing to me how the woman who is married for 25 years here makes some sense. Right? Certainly weird how that works. All these girls who have fiancés and boyfriends that last a grand total of 2 months can't tell you anything. They just sit here complaining. And the woman who's in a marriage for 25 years actually says something constructive. Wow. Absolutely mind-blowing. Blah, blah, blah. I left my ex who was like this, and 6 months later he texted me saying, I didn't realize how much you really did, and I encourage you all to leave. I'm just going to cut to the chase here, Miss Lorna. The reason why he probably said this is because he was bored on a Friday night and he was just saying what he thought you wanted to hear. Right? He probably actually didn't give a crap about. If you guys haven't noticed, there is such a huge difference between like men and women in terms of what we're okay with. Like, I swear to you guys, you can give a man like an apartment with whatever it is that he's interested in there, a bed, and he'll be good to go. Right, but girls will sit there like decorating everything, making sure everything's like specific, you know, dusting this, dusting that. Like, dudes, have you guys seen those memes where it's like, this is how a man is happy to live, and it's literally just a fold out lawn chair in front of a TV in an apartment? It's like, I really actually kind of view it like that. I think guys can be happy
Casual sex is
with a lot less. And let's pause that video before my ears bleed. Alrighty. So let's jump into the next clip, guys, and see what this woman has to say. I get the feeling that this one is going to be painful, just judging by the music that blasted our ears for a second there. So let's take a listen.
casual sexism that I, as a 20-year-old female presenting person, have either experienced or have at least noticed about other female presenting people.
Only in 2022 will you hear people say such insane crap as like female presenting. Like, you couldn't just say that you're a woman. You have to like go the one step further. Like, first of all, we know that you're a woman. Second of all, nobody cares about your gender expression, what you're into. Nobody cares, okay? This is like a little badge that these people wear to like make themselves appear more morally superior. Pretty disgusting to me, guys. Pretty disgusting. I wonder how like all these trans people feel about like these girls just completely co-opting all of this crap, but that's a rant for another time. Yeah, so we got a woman here. Let's hear that.
Casual sexism that I, as a 20-year-old female presenting person, have either experienced.
She wrote, this is not me writing this, guys. Up here in the top of her TikTok, I think you guys can see that. Yeah, you can, right? It says, white and privileged, she asterisks is in, right? As if this needs to be, this is disgusting, man. Like, everybody, whenever they say a sentence, basically has to sit down and they have to say, oh, the reason, you know, I'm making this sentence from the position of a straight white man who is, you know, this and this. It's like, bro, right? Because as if you're like, here's the thing. Why are we doing this? Like, why are we doing this? That's my question. Why are we doing this, right? It's disgusting.
Or have at least noticed about other female presenting people. First of all, the clingy girlfriend stereotype. I've been with my partner for over a year. We're very affectionate. It's just how we roll. And there have been several times where I've gotten flack from other people, mainly from other women, about posting him too much, being too affectionate, talking about him too much. And he will do the exact same things in our relationship and get constant praise. I should be so lucky a man cooks for me.
Okay, wait, so let's look at this. First of all, I wasn't really listening, but she says here, NB, I don't know what NB means. So women perpetuating the patriarchy. Guys, I'm just going to come out and say this, okay? If you are talking with a girl and she says things like patriarchy, she says things like vibrational frequency, starts talking to you about rocks, star signs, all this kind of bullcrap. If you're a dude who's choosing to date, like, first, those are just some very, 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 very large red flags. Yeah, absolutely. That's, I don't know.
No. Mainly from other women, about posting him too much, being too affectionate, talking about him too much, and he will do the exact same things in our relationship and get constant praise. I should be so lucky a man cooks for me. Secondly, seeing the faces of women in STEM.
Yeah, so a lot of girls will get mad at other girls posting their boyfriends because, one, a lot of women these days don't actually have the ability to post a man because they have none. Or B, if they do have a guy, it's typically like a situationship where she has no title and she has no relationship. Like, I've made this point before, but a lot of girls are out here seeing dudes and they know that if they post the dude will just stop seeing them and stop talking to them. So like the amount of attention, and even if that's only bedroom fun orientated, that's going to go away if she tries to post him. It's kind of like a crabs in the bucket kind of thing, right? Where a lot of girls, they don't want other women to be successful in dating because they themselves are not. And it just highlights how, you know, how bad, quite frankly, they are at dating themselves.
Subjects or careers and going, wow, isn't she pretty? What a shock. First of all, why is that shocking? Second of all, why does it matter?
Did you just say, why is it shocking that a woman is in STEM? I apologize, guys, for having to go back and play this, but like, truthfully, I do find it really hard to listen. Like, I've listened to so many of these guys, like, it's, my brain stopped, when these people start saying crap like patriarchy, I just stop listening. It's a really bad habit.
Secondly, seeing the faces of women in STEM subjects or careers and going, wow, isn't she pretty? What a shock. First of all, why is that shocking? Second of all, why does it matter? When have you ever heard someone look at the face of a scientist who's male and go, wow, I can't believe he's actually handsome?
First of all, a lot of girls don't. It's funny, right? A lot of women, the reason why this is the way it is because women who are in STEM are typically more like men. I think they've done research, right, on where they've taken like babies in the womb or whatever, and they've correlated like the amount of testosterone to like what choices that individual chooses to make later in life. There's some study, I really can't think of it right now, but there's one that's like basically the more hormones that you have, in predominantly in males, if you have those more in a woman, you're going to be more interested in male fields. So like the logic is really not too far. A lot of girls do not choose STEM, and if a girl is choosing like coding and stuff like that, you can typically have the guess that she's going to be more logical or more manly in demeanor, right? Like if you guys have ever been in like a programming class, or you've ever been in a strictly mathematics class, or an engineering class, for example, you will notice that there's significantly less women in there, and the women who are typically in there are more like the dudes. So it really isn't saying too much, but whatever.
Third, seeing a notable woman, either a celebrity or someone well known, in their 40s without children, and the initial response being, "Oh, what a shame she doesn't have a family." No one said she didn't have a family. Definitely need to make a part 2.
The reason why a lot of people will look at 40-year-old women and say, "Oh, it's sad that she doesn't have a family," is because, let's be honest, a lot of these girls who get to 40 without families, one, are miserable, two, if they wanted a family, they could have had it the entire damn time, and three, they no longer have an opportunity to make a family as they get into these older ages, because you run some serious risks when you're trying to have kids, right? Those are the reasons why people say, if you're a girl, okay, basically failing at dating for a girl is getting to higher ages and being unable to secure a long-term partnership or a marriage. That's what it really is, right? Or if you want to talk about kids and stuff like that, you could probably add that in there too. But the reason why people look at you funny if you're 40 years of age and you've got no marriage, you've got no kids and stuff like that, is because you could have had these things all along. So if you don't have them, it says one of a couple of things. One, it says that, okay, maybe you just don't want these things, fine, sure. But two, it says if you did want these things, you are really, really, really screwed up to not have them, right? Like your ego has to be so big, because the only way you get to this age and you're still single is you think that you're better than anyone. It's not from lack of dudes approaching you or a lack of men out there who are actually viable. It's just because your ego is too damn large and your standards are too high. And of course, these girls will come around and say, "Oh, but our standards are so low. The bar is so low for men." That's not true. It's only low for the men that you're attracted to. So yeah. So with that out of the way, let's continue on to the next
time.
onto the next TikTok. And this is only a 4-second one. So she says, let's take a listen.
Honey, next time you see red flags, don't ignore them. Run.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Those red flags that this woman is talking about, this is what all those 40-year-old women have been ignoring this entire damn time. And then they want to turn around and be like, "Oh, I just couldn't find a good man," or "the dating scene sucks." It's like, yeah, the dating scene sucks. Mainly due to your decisions, to be honest, right? You want to have all these girls out here making terrible decisions, and then like you wonder why the dating scene is the way it is. You wonder why men don't commit to you. You wonder why men don't want to marry you. I mean, just pull up the TikTok app and it doesn't take you too long to figure it out.
It pisses me off.
Let's jump into the next clip.
It pisses me off that people perceive me like this sweet little girl. It took me such a long time to realize that I absolutely don't have to adhere to those perceptions that people have of me. Like, for people to change their perception of me, I need to change my looks. Like, I need to look more rugged, I guess.
Yeah, right. If you want people's perception to change of you, you should probably change how you behave and how you look. Right? Of course, people are going to view you differently when you look differently. Like, what? Yeah, of course, right? Here's the thing, okay? If you're a big, tall, jacked dude, and you're covered in tattoos, people are going to have a perception of you. It's called reality, okay? If you're a very tiny individual with no tattoos, and people are going to have different perceptions of you depending on how you look. Like, that goes without saying. That's called reality, but I suppose it's just a function of the patriarchy or something, right?
Like, what the fuck? Would my life be a lot easier if I looked like a dude? Yeah.
Wouldn't everything be easier if you were to, be viewed as this quote little girl that you're talking about? Right? Because again, guys, like if you guys don't believe what I'm saying here, right, there are a lot of people a lot of women who make a ridiculous amount of money simply by simply by existing and having people perceive them a certain way. Like you can go on Twitch, guys, and you've got all these women sitting there doing nothing on a platform that was supposed to be about gaming, just being thrown money simply because of other people's perception of them, right? And because they're a girl. And this woman is sitting here trying to say that it's easier to be a dude. A lot of fields actually would prefer to hire women, right? Like, I don't think these women understand this, but a lot of fields such as engineering, mathematics, blah, 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 all this kind of crap, they would like to hire women more often than not, simply because they get diversity ticks more than anything these days. Like, we're going to play that last bit back. Let's take a listen.
Fuck, would my life be a lot easier if I looked like a dude? Yeah, probably.
I wish I had the power to like make these women start their lives again, but start it as a man, so that way they could like realize just how much of a recruit difficulty that they're living on. Like, I don't think they understand how much free crap is given to them just because they're a woman. There's a quote that I've mentioned a few times now, but the quote is something like, privilege is invisible to those that have it. So this is why we always have these girls complaining when truthfully they have no idea what the male experience is even like, but they will sit here and complain because people view them inherently positively. All right, you can't make it up.
Stop being so fucking nice and show them how crazy you are.
Yeah, this is the same woman, by the way. When it's the third date and it's time, so you're supposed to show them how crazy you are. A lot of dudes who have been through some terrible situations will probably tell you that you should have very long vetting times because, man, I know dudes who have been married, they've been in long-term relationships, and only after like months has the girl let down the crazy guard. And what I mean by the crazy guard is the dude doesn't know they're crazy until months into the relationship, and that's when she decides to drop the whole thing, which is really quite terrifying when you think about it. But guys, let's continue into today's, I was going to say magazine article, but we've got actually a bit of a different one here today. We have a dating profile. Now, we're going to be working through this together. Fair warning, guys, like all the pictures are super large. We're going to be scrolling through it together. Now, fair warning, guys, this gets a little bit rough from what I understand, but let's take a look, okay? So first of all, very large images here, but we've got a woman sitting here lying down, face kind of cut off a bit, and she's lying here with her cat. She is a 30-year-old special education teacher. Now, guys, people have various different opinions on this, but my opinion is that the public schooling system absolutely sucks. It is set up in a way to teach people to fail. It is set up in a way to teach people to be followers and not actually lead or create anything themselves. I think it's a very sad state of things. And guess what, guys? A lot of the teachers who run these things, of course, they are women, gentlemen. Man, I remember sitting in class when I was younger, guys, and I'm just like, why on earth are we listening to these individuals who are not successful in any metric of their life, whether that be financially, whether that be relationships, whether that be physical health, nothing, right? There's a lot of just middle-aged women who truthfully just are absolutely useless trying to sit here to teach us, but that's a rant for another time. So in her about section, and I think this is Bumble, right? I'm pretty sure this is Bumble. Yeah, so she's like, this is her about section. She says, the very first sentence, guys, and this is underlined because it's key. She says, don't waste my time. I'm not here to talk for a couple of weeks, hook up, then get ghosted. Right? So right off the bat, whenever you see stuff like this, what they're really giving you is they're giving you an explanation of their experience, right? And this is why, like, I will look at subreddits for content for these episodes, gentlemen, and you can always tell within like the first one or two sentences whether it's a man or a woman writing the article. You don't even need to see if they say that they're a female or a male. You can normally just tell because the women come from a position of privilege and they will tell you how their dating goes, and it is the most predictable, stupid crap of all time. They will literally not secure commitment because the dude's attractive, so they'll try and play it out. They go out there, They quote unquote talk for a couple of weeks, right? Which, let's be honest, the hooking up is happening during this period as well. They hook up and then they get ghosted, right? It's like, of course you did. Of course you did. She says, don't fake it to get it. There is free bedroom fun everywhere. Prove me wrong that most men my age have no sense in dating or effort. This is the kind of crap that makes me smile a bit, guys, because we have 30-plus-year-old dudes out here literally just playing the field. You know what I mean? Like, of course they're not going to commit to you. What did you say your age was? 30? You're a special education teacher. You're 30. You are still single. You see, this is where girls really start to hit the rough patch, guys. You know, it's kind of like if any of you gentlemen play video games, it's like you have the most insanely busted, broken, overpowered character of all time playing on the easiest difficulty. But then as it starts to get a bit higher and higher, guys, you're still playing on easy, but it's like, it's such a huge hit to their ego, gentlemen, because they start getting absolutely clapped by people who have a clue, right? Their character's not as powerful anymore. Yeah, it's still ridiculously powerful, but people have kind of figured out how to avoid the tricks and all that kind of crap. And before you know it, she's 35. She's maybe got a kid to some dude that she doesn't even know anymore, and that's a wrap. But let's take a listen to the rest of this. So she's 5'1", which I don't know about you guys, but any girl who is below 6'8", gentlemen, I don't think we can date because we need to be out here with standards, gentlemen, just really realistic standards. So this girl who's 5'8", yeah, look, I think that we can all do better, right? So if there's someone out here and you're 5'1" and you're watching this video right now, don't date any woman unless she's over 6 foot, guys. I really want you to be out here having the correct standards and make sure she makes like 6 figures as well, preferably over 250K in the range of 6 figures. But let's move on. So she has an undergraduate degree, so she's wasted years of her life here. She drinks never. I doubt it. You're telling me that this woman drinks never, but she smokes socially? I don't buy that. She is looking for... Nah. She is looking for a relationship and she has kids. Oh my. That's crazy, isn't it? That's absolutely crazy. She's 5'1", she doesn't exercise, she's wasted years of her life getting a useless degree. She works in education, she smokes, she's looking for a relationship because she can't secure one, and she has kids. Fantastic. She's a Sagittarius. She says that she's apolitical. Again, I doubt it. And she is also spiritual. Now let's take a look at some of her interests here. Why on earth is this an interest? Okay, so she's into crafts, she's into takeouts, she's into crime, she's into food, and I don't recognize, or at least I refuse to recognize this alphabet here. And as you can see, we got some more photos, right? So guys, she wants you to accept her swipe if you are an emotionally intelligent and... Sorry, if you are emotionally intelligent and know how to keep a conversation going, right? And oh my lord, what is... I'm going to move my character. What is this, man? What is this? People own these. I'm sorry, that thing should be paying rent if it's living with her. Like, what is that? Why would you get a cat that's skinless? Is this like a condition, or like, do people just shave cats like this? I have no idea. I don't want one of these things ever. Yeah, me. It's actually funny, guys. Like, I'm just gonna rant for a second here. So there's a like cat that hangs around my house, guys. And I hate cats, and I think it knows because it always tries to follow me, and it always comes up to the door. It's not even my cat, right? And it just comes up and it tries to, like, it's literally, I've left the door open one time, and I've literally found it in the house before, right? Straight up disturbing. You know, more photos, no cat in this photo. So she says, my personal hell is giant social gatherings, bars, and bald men, she says. So here we have a 30-year-old, I'm going to move back over this side, a 30-year-old single mother who smokes, and her personal hell is bald men. That's interesting. Very interesting. And the cat's made a resurgence in the next photo, and fantastic stuff. Right? Absolutely fantastic. Guys, I think we're going to call today's recording there because I don't want to spook myself with any more cat photos. That thing looks horrendous. We're going to be leaving it there, gentlemen. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments, guys. make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. Locals, of course, is totally free to join, guys. We're going to be posting weekly archived content over there. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can support over there, or you can check out Patreon if you'd prefer. But otherwise, gentlemen, we're going to be leaving it there. So make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together content for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. The link will be in the video description, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, we are currently looking to expand Fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you are interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and Locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace. That